All right. So, my name's Sonia. I am originally from Poland. And I've been singing since before I can remember. But I started kind of writing music when I was about 15 and went to music school in Boston for about a year. Tried to do some music stuff in New York and then ended up in London. So now I've been in London for about 5 years.
So hang on, how long did you spend in America?
Only 3 years, but I already went to I went to an international school in Poland. So
Right, okay.
That's why I speak.
So that's where the accent
that.
comes from. Ah, I get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted. Do carry on.
No. That's my story, really.
So today then, 2018, 11th of July. I've been reading you've been working with some amazing people, some brilliant producers, and tell everybody about the sort of music that you like to write and sing and perform.
So my music usually starts very kind of singer-songwriter, just piano and vocals, and then I kind of take it into the studio and work with producers to make it a bit more kind of. I like to add a bit of like 80s synths in there and kind of just build it up. But usually, like the skeleton of the song is usually just piano and vocal, so that's the way that I like to keep it.
Are you one of these? I think the answer is going to be yes to this, but see, I would say annoyingly talented people that can not just sing very well, but can also write and can also play. And yes.
Well, no, I can only play like to accompany myself. I can't like play some Chopin or anything.
Right.
But yeah, I guess I do write. So that's 2 talents there.
Yeah, that's 2 more than me. So you win on that front. So where does your music fit in today's market then? I mean, I would if I throw some names at you, would you do? I suppose when you talk about influencers, you've got. I like people like Lana Del Rey, who I think's just got an incredible voice.
Yeah.
And you've got this sort of. I met Lana Del Rey once backstage at some event, and I spent about half an hour with her. And she's got this sort of vibe that without saying anything, she's got a presence. You've got that as well.
Oh, thank you.
That's okay. Is that, tell me the influences who you have sort of picked, not copied, nobody copies, but people pick influences out from.
Well, I kind of like to, when I first started writing, the people that I've started listening to were the kind of people that I could tell wrote songs on their instrument.
Yeah.
So, and kind of coming from like somewhere honest. So like I usually list my influences as people like Leonard Cohen and Joni Mitchell and,
Amazing.
And people who kind of write on their instrument. But all my influences from before then were kind of whatever was on MTV and kind of like, you know, Avril Lavigne and Pink and stuff like that. So
now you're talking. That was my youth. Avril Lavigne was that was my
first
youth.
2 albums. I mean, that was the kind of first singer-songwriter that I really listened to. And I was like, oh, she writes her lyrics were about her life. So that was like the kind of first influence that I had when I was writing my songs.
So if you had to pick up your music and drop it into a compartment that's a genre, where would you put it? Where would it fit?
I mean, I usually say soulful pop, but that's just kind of like a quick way to say it. I kind of feel a bit like an outsider in every genre, really, because I feel like I'm always a bit too pop to kind of be labeled as indie and a bit too like indie to be labeled as pop, so it's a bit of a hard one for me.
But I love that because that sounds like that's a great answer because it sounds like what you do. You're obviously very comfortable with it, and I spent a good half an hour watching your videos on YouTube. I was basically, I'll be honest with you, I was stalking you for half an hour.
Nice.
For half an hour,
there's some good content out there. You know?
For
I
half
do take
an hour,
a lot of time doing my videos.
Yeah, you were almost in the room with me. But I like that because it sounds as though the music you do and the way that you perform, you're quite happy that it doesn't necessarily fit. And that's why I asked the question. So it doesn't necessarily fit into that genre. Because now, obviously, music these days, it's sort of just picked up and dropped into, this is pop, this is contemporary, this is that. But it's good to have that.
Yeah, well, that because my songs start so raw, I kind of like to do it song by song and think, oh, this song needs a bit of this and needs a bit of that, and then so they all end up a little bit different from each other. But I think that's quite a good thing sometimes.
Are you a complete perfectionist where you? No,
actually, no. Yeah, I always I'm really not. I like to kind of go with my kind of gut feeling, And I'm usually quite happy with the track, like on day one, after coming out of the studio, and then the last kind of little edits are more like the producers are usually the perfectionists. I'm usually like, this is good, let's get it out.
Let's just get it out there.
Yeah.
And how have people reacted so far to the music that you've put out? I mean, Spotify are all over your music. They love it.
Yeah, I think it's doing best on YouTube, actually.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, it's actually quite surprising. The songs that do well, like, are always quite surprising to me. Like the kind of messages that I get from people that are like, "Oh, I really like this song." I'm like, "Really?" Like, that was just kind of like a B-side.
How important? Because we just play it, of course, so we don't necessarily understand the whole process behind. Probably should, but behind putting music out there. How important these days is having a big online presence?
Well, it's
to you.
Well, it's more important than I would like it to be, for sure. I mean, I would love it if the kind of music would be able to speak for itself, but it's like, I mean, for people to want to play your music, they always check your socials and see how many followers you have. The kind of numbers speak more than the music now, so it's quite important to kind of stay on it, but I'm not amazing at it.
And where do you it's good to admit, neither am I. Where do you want to get to? What's that? You said you're not a perfectionist, but what's that box that you want to tick that says, you know what, I've achieved that? Amazing. Where would you like to get to?
It'd be great if I could like do a tour of Europe and be able to play, like, you know, even like 200 to 500 cap venues where people like actually buy tickets to see my show and fill up the venues like that. I'd be happy with that.
Would you do the States?
Yeah, I'd love to do the States eventually, yeah.
So tell us about the music that you've got out at the minute.
So my latest single is called Change Shapes, and it came out about a month ago, I think.
Okay.
It's a song I wrote with this producer called Anu Pillai, and
and it's out now. You can get it,
out now,
download it
on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, all the good stuff.
And you're going to play for us in a second.
Yes.
So thank you for that. So how can people, once they hear it and they like it, how can they find out more about you and get it?
So Instagram, I guess, is the best place to follow me if you want to kind of see what I'm up to and know where I'm playing. Spy
on you, like I did last night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get it. I mean, I think iTunes is probably a good way to, if you want to buy my music, which I encourage you to do.
Of course.
Give me that £1.
Yeah.
But
every pound counts. We've got Brexit coming. Every pound counts.
Exactly. Yeah. Have a little piggy bank.
Exactly. Well, listen, thank you for coming to see us. As I said, I spent some time listening to you last night at studio at home, and I think your voice is incredible. So hopefully we see and hear a lot more of you.
Can you remember what I said in the morning before it fades into the blue of the night? The promises I made in December, January came around and I lied. Such an elusive game to try to be myself before I turn to someone else. I'm saying all these things I thought I don't believe. At least I didn't yesterday, well now I'm here. 'Cause I change shape every day lately. A blank page for what you want to see. I hold these mirrors up to face me, and I'll become what you want. But I try to piece together all of my memories so I can hold on to the way that I feel. Afraid to lose the things that I love now, because the things I love can change on me still. Such an elusive game to try to be myself. I try to chase it, but I'm running out of breath. I'm saying all these things I thought I don't believe. At least I didn't yesterday, well now I'm here. 'Cause I change shape every day lately. A blank page for what you want to see. I taste it, but I'm running out of breath. I'm saying all these things I thought I don't believe. At least I didn't yesterday, but now I'm here. 'Cause I change shape every day lately. A blank page for what you want to see. I hold these mirrors up to face me, and I'll be gone where you are, baby. 'Cause I change shape every